Hello guys, welcome to the Geeks Handbag. I hope you're well. There I was watching Legopolis and look what happens. Anyway, welcome to my review of Doctor Who Series 8 Episode 9, Flatline. So, Flatline by Jamie Matheson, his second story for Doctor Who after last week's brilliant episode, Mummy on the Orient Express. And it started with this scene that was quite unsettling actually. It was brilliant with this guy on the phone who's snatched away, and then we see that his image has sort of immersed itself in the wall, and this gave a great little intro to the episode before the Doctor lands in Bristol, which I wonder if that was a shout out to Banksy, as the underlying tone of this episode was about graffiti. But yes, the Doctor lands in Bristol and the TARDIS has shrunk for some reason, not much bigger than this one behind me, and luckily both Peter Capaldi and Jenna Coleman are skinny enough to get through those TARDIS doors, because it was very tight. I know I certainly would have struggled to get out of it. Of course, it's not the first time we've seen the TARDIS miniaturised. It's happened in a few other stories as well, including Planet of the Giants, Carnival of Monsters, and most noticeably in Legopolis. Anyway, after going off to explore and meeting a group of people doing community service, Clara discovers that people are disappearing all over Bristol, so she goes back to tell the Doctor, who is now trapped in this TARDIS not much bigger than this one, and that led to some amusing scenes with the Doctor's big face behind the doors. Clara didn't seem too concerned that he was trapped inside there, so she swiftly put him in her handbag and carries him around, and that led to some nice humour as well, with the Doctor handing out various things to Clara, including the psychic paper and the sonic and a sledgehammer. So when Clara and Riggsy, one of the guys who was doing the community service, start investigating these disappearances, they go to this person's house with this police officer, and there's this scene where the police officer is sucked into the carpet, and that was truly unsettling. So obviously this thing then starts coming after Clara and Riggsy, and there's this scene where they're swinging in this round chair to sort of keep off the carpet because this thing's coming from them. And the tension was really building at this point, but then Clara got a phone call from Danny. Now, there was some humour in there that worked well, but it did kind of take away the tension of what was a really good scene. The scenes of the door handle going flat and the collapsing sofa all worked really well to build on that tension there. That's really well done. So we thought this was going to be a Doctor-like episode, and he was confined mainly to the TARDIS right up until the end. But actually he did also have a big presence in the episode, and to be fair, I thought it all worked really well. You know, the Doctor and Clara did swap places. Clara was very much at the forefront of this episode. In fact, she did even call herself the Doctor. But what it did show, and this is a credit to the writing, is that she had to make the decisions that the Doctor would normally make. And I think she's slowly starting to realise how difficult these decisions are. And the Doctor has now realised that Clara is starting to pick up a lot of his bad habits as well. So although the episode had to be Doctor-like in a sense because of the filming schedule, the writer used this really effectively, I thought. The episode nipped along at a really good pace. In fact, if anything, it might have benefited from having an extra 10 minutes just to allow itself to breathe a little bit. But once we got inside the tunnel and these creatures were really homing in on the group and Clara, the tension built well. I thought the Doctor and Clara worked really well together, although they were separated, to actually solve the problem. And I loved the Doctor tinkering around in the TARDIS, making gadgets, you know, desperately trying to find a way to stop them. And I loved his crazy spectacles he had on at one point. So at one point the TARDIS gets knocked out of Clara's hand and it lands on the train track, and obviously the Doctor's trapped inside with a train racing towards it, about to obliterate the poor old TARDIS that's had all its defences knocked to smithereens. And that was a great idea of Clara to say, do Adam's family, and the Doctor's hand coming out and shifting the TARDIS along like the Addams Family hand. Just a lovely little sort of touch to the episode, I thought, and it worked really well. Of course, he thinks he's got away with it until the TARDIS accidentally falls back on the track a little bit. And the little dance he did just before that moment, the little Doctor dance, was just wonderful. When the TARDIS did get hit by the train, because its defences were all down, the Doctor pulls a lever and it goes into siege mode, and it did look a little bit like this. This is the Pandorica from the Matt Smith era. Very, very similar to the TARDIS in siege mode, but I like it. And I do see that a certain company has already produced a replica of that prop, so no doubt I'll be buying one to go next to my Pandorica box. So with everything building up really well, there was a fantastic scene where this train was coming towards them and it gets flattened against the wall. That looked brilliant. And then these creatures, which are actually called the boneless, it was quite hard to hear when the Doctor said it, but having rewatched it today, the boneless they were called, actually rise up from the track, and I thought that was a really iconic, brilliant visual scene. We never really find out why the boneless are killing people and dissecting them and studying them, and this intrigues the Doctor as well. But Clara, in a nice little twist, manages to turn the energy from the boneless back onto the TARDIS, bringing it back to full size just in time for the Doctor to step out and give a brilliant speech before actually saving the day by wiping them all out. But of course he is reluctant to do that because, like the viewer, he wants to know why they were doing it, and it's something that they might possibly go back to. So we got an intriguing little scene with Missy at the end of this week's episode where she was watching Clara on an iPad, which was rather bizarre, but she did say something that was interesting. She said, "My Clara, I have chosen well." So I can't wait to find out what this is all about. So another really strong episode again this week. I think Series 8 is shaping up to be a really good series. And another great script from Jamie Matheson. He seems to be one to watch. I thought the role reversal between the Doctor and Clara worked surprisingly well. Everybody in the cast was really good. They all gave good performances. The visuals in the episode were great, as was the music. But don't think I didn't spot the continuity slip with the Doctor's hair at the end, where it changed between short and long in between shots. Although maybe the bonus was just affecting that too, who knows. Anyway, next week's episode, In the Forest of the Night, looks intriguing. Don't know much about this one, but I am really looking forward to Saturday night rolling round again. Anyway, I'm going to give Flatline an overall score of 8 out of 10. So do check out thegeekshandbag.com for more news and videos by me. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the Facebook page, and do say hello on Twitter. Until the next time, guys, take care. Bye-bye.